Namaste, let's go live on another bicycle live stream on Saturday the 18th of July at 7:16 a.m. It is 13.5 degrees. I've ridden 27.3 kilometres. Let's get into it. This morning's topic is forgiveness, something that's relevant based on the post that's come up in my page in the last week in relation to last week's topic about karma. Imagine that you could see the energy that you radiate and that other people radiate. The energy that some animals actually do see, that they do maybe not see with their eyes, but they do actually perceive. And this is a reason why sometimes we observe some strange reactions from some animals around some people. We see dogs in particular that may be very afraid of being around certain people and very comfortable around other people. We see similar things with other animals because they can perceive an energy that we cannot. So just because we can't perceive something doesn't mean it's not there. It just means we don't have the capability to easily perceive it. But there are ways of seeing energy, and I want you to think about if the difference in the way that we would react to other people, treat ourselves, the compassion that we would show for one another and ourselves, if we could perceive energy as easily as you can see things in the spectrums that you see them now with the naked eye. So Kirlian photography allows us to see things that we cannot see with our eyes. We can see the aura, we can see energy fields that are going unknown to us. And when I was young, when I was in primary school, I had a quite strong experience of being able to see the aura around a particular lady or teacher. I even remember her name, Mrs. Madonna, and she was the librarian, and she would sit and read books to the class, and she had a very strong white aura around her body, and she was a largish woman, and but had a very peaceful energy, and that was quite an interesting thing for me as a young kid to sort of perceive this and go, what am I seeing here? And it's been for me very rare to be able to see it. In my 20s I also had an experience where I was able to see the aura again around another woman who was actually a counsellor that I was going to, and she had a pretty strong aura around her as well. So it is possible, my point being, it is possible for some of us under the right conditions to see energies that normally go unnoticed. Chris says, on a completely different topic, check out the beach. It should be beautiful with light offshore wind and big surf. It's an enormous surf. It's so big, Chris, that down at Duran Bar, which I'm sure is a beach you're familiar with, people weren't even trying to go out. They were just, they were coming down, having a look, and then driving off. They weren't even attempting to do it. It's too big and choppy as well. So anyway, back on topic. So why am I talking about how different things would be if we could see energy? Well, because if we could perceive where a person was coming from energetically, if we could do it very easily, if we could tap into it, if we could see it, it would bring out a more compassionate side of ourselves that would allow us to feel for what somebody is going through. If you saw the dark energy that comes from some people, you would feel for them. You would want for them to be not in that state. You would sort of want to give them a hug and say, hey, what's going on? Can I, do you want to talk? Can I help? That sort of thing. So this ties into today's subject of forgiveness, and how if we lived in a world where we could see energy as easily as we see some other things, how differently we would treat each other and how easily we would forgive people for what we consider transgressions. But the important thing I want to talk about this morning is forgiveness in relation to ourselves and its importance, not so much in forgiving somebody who we feel has done something wrong, and that is a judgment that we make, a decision we make, but the effect energetically that not forgiving someone has. So I've mentioned that forgiveness releases us, it releases us, not them, just focusing on us. It releases us from three things, of course more than that of course, but morning. But it releases us from three things, and the three things are the bitterness, and then let me just get past here and then I'll continue on. Morning. So the three things it releases us from is the bitterness, the resentment, and the judgment that is energetically tied up in us, when we choose not to forgive someone. Now, it's not so important what they've done that we feel is wrong. It might be a little slight. It might be something that everyone would consider the worst thing you can do. What I'm talking about here is about us, is about releasing us, looking at our energy, looking at what's happening to us energetically when we're not, or when we're holding on to these negative energies and what it's doing to us, how it's affecting our health, how it's affecting our thoughts, how it's affecting our relationships, our interaction with others, and our interaction with ourselves, because we have a relationship with ourselves which is drastically affected when we make a conscious decision to not forgive someone. So first off, what we have to do in that conscious decision to not forgive someone is we have to energetically hold on to a bitterness, an anger towards that person. How dare you do that to me? Secondly, we have to hang on to a resentment that they got away with it. We think they got away with it, and we resent the fact that they got away with it. Thirdly, we judge them. We can connect their actions with the person directly, and we judge them, and we say that person is worthless because of what they did. All of these energies serve us no good at all. They damage us and our health, and we need to step back, look at them, deconstruct them, and realize that if we are to have any chance of having peace in our life, any chance of being able to take some shelter in our heart, then we cannot do it if we hold on to these dark energies that we may not be able to see, but are most definitely there and are perceived, can be perceived through Kirlian photography, through certain animals that have the ability to see these energies. So, for those that say, oh yeah, it doesn't exist, my friends, it does exist. And, for those that follow the religion of science, that, if science can't prove something, well, science does prove energy. Science is very much about energies, especially quantum physics. If you're not familiar, if your guru is science and your religion is science, and you're not familiar with quantum physics, it is science's way of understanding the things that it could not categorize in any other way. Dr. Bruce Lipton describes it better, but it's science's way of understanding spirituality. So let me just get down here. Morning. So the reason I bring this up is because what I see in posts in recent times, and it's very sad to see, is people hanging on to destructive energies. Energies that are not helping them. Energies, I understand why you're doing it. I understand why you're hanging on to destructive energies, because we all are against injustice, and we don't want to see somebody get away with something that's not right. And this is fine, this is completely understandable. But we're making a mistake in not separating the person from the action. We are making a mistake in not being able to see the person's energy, which would show us just how lost that person is. And we would feel a deep sense of compassion towards that person if we could see that they are a brother of ours or a sister of ours, and they are so lost, and their energetic vibration, their energetic pattern would clearly show it. This is why I have mentioned before how I very much love kinesiology as a healing modality, because it taps into these unseen energies, and you can't fool them. It's, when you have a kinesiology session, the practitioner is tapping into these energies, the authenticity of where you're at. And you can tell them verbally the story that's in your mind, but it probably won't match the energy of where you're at. And you can't fool that. You take a Kirlian photograph, and it's showing energetically where you're at. And you can try and trick it, but it can't be tricked. So that's the beauty of it, that we can actually scientifically show where we are energetically. And I love that. And I love that proves the importance of releasing ourselves from harmful energies of bitterness, resentment, and judgment. We can observe a person's behaviour without judging them. We can understand that if we go in the cage of a tiger, we're likely to get eaten. We don't judge the tiger for that and say, oh, you're a bad animal. We understand that is the nature of the tiger. So if we can understand that, we do two things. We protect ourselves from that danger, and we don't judge. We just understand that is the characteristic or the behaviour of that entity. And this is the same thing that happens if we can observe energetically somebody who is lost on the path. They are a brother, a sister spiritually. They are children of God. They have as much right as you and I to be loved. And in fact, they are so lost. They are doing things that are just completely unacceptable, completely insane, that it's an indication of just how far removed they are from feeling love, and just how crucial it is that they are able to be held in a state of love, not in a state of judgment. Judgment serves them no good, and it doesn't help us. To judge someone, I have to hang on to an energy which destroys me. I have to drink a poison which kills me. There is no logic in it. So I'm hoping that you might get some understanding from this. And, before someone comes back and says, oh yeah, it's all right to forgive the rapist and all the rest of it. No. I don't put words in my mouth that I've never said. I never said that. You must love the sinner, not the sin. The sin you do not condone. And you have to be assertive in that. You have to stand up for what is right and wrong. In other words, stand up for justice. But it takes a very strong person to stand up whilst not simultaneously judging the perpetrator of the crime. And there are some very good examples, some beautiful examples I've read where there have been parents or partners where their partner has been murdered or their child has been murdered, and the parents in court have said, I forgive the person that did this, because they understand the reason the person did it is because they are so lost, they are so far removed from feeling love that their actions represent it. And if we could see energetically with our eyes, we would see the darkness surrounding them and understand that throwing more darkness at them won't help. You can only remove the darkness by shining light. So think about this, shine some light on the darkness, and simultaneously release yourself from the bitterness, resentment, and judgment. Have a great day, live vegan and save lives. I'll speak to you soon. Ahimsa.